All right. Class, today's scene 6 is not just important, it's explosive. If scene 5 showed us abuse of power, scene 6 gives to expose the truth behind that power. Let's go carefully because this scene is deep, symbolic, and very likely to appear in your exams. Welcome back to my channel where I break down literature text so that you can pass your exams in flying colors. Okay, let's go there. My first reaction to this scene was, what just happened? Let me ask you, did this scene feel calm or tense? It is highly tense. Why? Because Iya Agba confronts Ajanaku directly. Hidden secrets begin to surface. The king is no longer fully in control. Oh my God. This is the beginning of the collapse of illusion. Then we witness a battle of truth and power between Ajanaku and Iya Agba. This scene is basically a verbal war between Ajanaku, who represents power, authority, and pride, and all the rest of them, and Iya Agba, who represents truth, memory, justice, etc. Let us examine Ajanaku's character in this scene. Notice how he speaks. I am Ajanaku, conqueror of lands and forests. I am the king. I am the law. And you stand forever accused. My dear, this man is very arrogant. Anyway, let us continue. What does he show? Extreme pride, dictatorial mindset, and an identity built on power, not truth. Take note of this critical point. When a ruler says, I am the law, that is no longer leadership. That is tyranny. Do you understand? Then we take a closer look at this standard of truth called Iya Agba. Let's settle this clearly. Iya Agba is not just a mad woman. She is a symbol of truth, a carrier of memory, and a voice of justice. And most importantly, she knows Ajanaku's past. All of a sudden, there is a big revelation. Pay attention. This is the turning point of the entire play. Iya Agba reveals that Ajanaku may not be the legitimate son of the late king. She calls him back. Goat in a horse's stable, death on a white cloth. Oh my God, she's truly not afraid of him. She's not afraid to speak truth to power. Let's interpret this insult carefully. The first one she said was goat in a horse's stable, meaning someone who does not belong where he is. The second one was death on a white cloth, meaning a stain on something pure. We can call him corruption of royalty. And then you have the last one, black pigeon among well-bred fowls, meaning an outsider pretending to belong. Oh my God, these are really brutal insults. What does this all mean? Ajanaku's authority is built on a lie. Then for the master schemer himself, Serubawon. Now, look at Serubawon's reaction. He quickly shuts Iya Agba up. Others are removal and avoids answering directly. That is suspicious. Let's reason. If what she says was false, why not deny it clearly? Instead, he silences her. This suggests there may be truth in what she is saying. And then there is Omoyeni, the silent victim. Omoyeni is present, but notice she's quiet, she's disturbed. Iya Agba exposes her past too. This shows women in power structure may still be voiceless. She may also be trapped in Ajanaku's web. This scene is not a curtain call. It is a spotlight. Woo! Here are 5 major themes in this scene. The first one, truth versus power. Ajanaku represents power, while Iya Agba represents truth. Power tries to silence truth, but cannot destroy it. The second theme here is identity and legitimacy. Who is Ajanaku really? Does he deserve the throne? The third theme here is deception and lies. We talk about hidden powers, false identities, and manipulated history. And then the fourth one is abuse of authority. When he says things like, I am the law, and then tries to silence opposition and others, people around, using force, that is abuse of authority. And then the fifth one you have there is fate and consequence. Iya Agba keeps warning, the past will catch up. Let me challenge you. Why is Iya Agba the one revealing the truth? Because society ignored her. She has nothing to lose. Sometimes truth comes from those we least expect. Now, we've got to this juncture. I would like us to review likely WAEC and NECO essay questions for your exams, okay? So prepare very well for questions like this. Number 1, discuss the significance of Iya Agba in scene 6. This is a very key question, right? We will talk about significance of a character, significance of a title, significance of the book, significance is a very key question. This woman is a symbol of a lot of things, and so she's going to be spotlighted for you in this exam. It's very important to understand her role and her character. So discuss the significance of Iya Agba in scene 6. What is her role? Why is the role of Iya Agba very important in this play? So when you're answering this question, please point out that she's a truth teller, she's a revealer of hidden past, and a symbol of justice. Okay? Talk about these 3 key points. It's very important and will help you in your exam. The second question says, examine Ajanaku as a tyrant in this scene. So, as you're answering this question, don't forget to point out those quotes from him, because they are evidence of his tyranny. When he says things like, I am the law, I am the king, and so on and so forth. Point out his arrogance. Point out that he silences oppositions. These are things that make him a tyrant. The evidence is very much in this particular scene. And then you have the third question. Analyze the theme of identity in the play. So, we're talking about the identity of Ajanaku, who is supposedly the king, but we don't know who his real father is, right? Except for what Iya Agba tells us. So let's analyze the identity, the theme of identity in the play. When you're answering this question, use the bastardly revelation. When Iya Agba talked about him being a bastard, use the first legitimacy. He's not supposed to be the king because he's not the rightful heir of the king. And also look at the symbolic insults that Iya Agba hurled at him. These are things you put together to analyze the message the playwright is trying to pass with identity in the play. And then you have the last question for the NECO WAEC essay questions, number 4. Comment on the role of Serubawon in the conflict. In answering this question, point out his suspicious behavior, his possible complicity, and how he avoids the truth. Now, let's go to the JAM multiple choice practice questions. Let's test you, okay? The first one, Iya Agba's main role in this scene is A, comic relief, B, messenger, C, truth revealer, D, servant. You're correct. The answer is C. Let's go to number 2 question. Ajanaku's statement, I am the law, shows A, wisdom, B, justice, C, tyranny, D, confusion. You're right again. The right answer is C. The phrase, goats in a horse's stable suggests A, strength, B, belonging, C, misplacement, and D, wealth. That's correct. The answer is C. Finally, Serubawon's reaction to Iya Agba suggests A, confidence, B, fear and concealment, C, happiness, and D, ignorance. Of course, the B is the correct answer. Here's my final insight, and a very important one. Let's connect everything so far. In scene 3, Ajanaku rises. In scene 4, people worry. Scene 5, he abuses power. And now in scene 6, his secret is exposed. This is the structure of tragic downfall. So I have a final question for you, and I would like you to think like an examiner. If you are asked, how does the playwright use Iya Agba to reveal hidden truth? This scene is your strongest evidence. In next class, we'll begin to see, will truth destroy Ajanaku, or will power continue to silence it? And that class is where the real tragedy unfolds. If this lesson has been useful to you, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification button and get ready for the next class. Till then, continue to bet on yourself. Bye.